Good day, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Just Fish Outdoors. I'm your host, Dale York, and I designed Just Fish Outdoors to focus on freshwater lakes and streams and to provide information, tips, and techniques, along with how-to segments for catching everything from crappie to catfish. We will also provide tips on equipment, tackle, boating, and much, much more. All of this is aimed at helping you catch more fish and have fun doing it. So join us each week as we talk about my favorite subject, fishing. Hi folks, Dale York, Just Fish Outdoors. Hey, with the Labor Day holiday coming up, I know there's going to be a lot of you that are going to be on the water this weekend. And, one of the things we really need to keep in our minds is water safety and boater safety. So one of the things I really encourage everyone to do that is going to be on the water or own a boat or have a boat is to look up your state boating laws. Many of them are boated.com. You can go look them up, or just type in your state and type in, boating laws, and it'll give you a link to go check that out. Many people that operate boats are not aware the laws and regulations that govern that particular watercraft's operation. So I encourage everyone to go out and check out their current state regulations, their current state laws, and you never know, it may keep someone from getting one of those ugly pay tickets. So, let's listen in for Oklahoma's specific regulations and specific things. We're going to talk to one of the Lake Patrol guys, Troop W, Highway Patrol, and he's going to tell us some information about Oklahoma specifically. But I still encourage everyone to check their specific state and check their specific laws and go take a course. It's amazing what you might learn. So this is Dale York for Just Fish Outdoors. Let's get into this week's show.
And that'll bring us to our special segment. Our special segment today, the thing we really should do is spend some time getting acquainted with the rules and regulations that pertain to operating a boat or watercraft on our area lakes. I brought along a guy today that's going to help us try to figure this out. His name is Ryan Griffin, and he's a member of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Troop W, Marine Enforcement Division. Ryan, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming. And perhaps we could just start off by telling folks exactly what Troop W is and what they're all about.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today, Dale. It's always a pleasure to see you and to have the opportunity to come and talk to the people, or your listeners. And, we don't have this opportunity a lot, and it's just a blessing to have this opportunity to come and talk to you today. Troop W is the Marine Enforcement Section of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. Many of your listeners may remember them as the Lake Patrol. And we have Highway Patrol absorbed that division of the Department of Public Safety in about 1999. And so even though it's been a while, most people still aren't aware of the changes. But the Marine Enforcement Section is what the Lake Patrol used to be, except it works under the umbrella of the Highway Patrol. And what we do is we concentrate on enforcing the boating regulations and the laws that affect your listeners, the fishermen.
Yeah, I know you guys in most respects, are spread pretty darn thin. We're talking about some 38 lakes in the state of Oklahoma, and just thousands of shore miles that you guys are responsible for, and there's not very many of you to do that.
No, there's not. And most people don't realize that there's more shoreline in the state of Oklahoma than in the entire eastern shoreline of the United States.
That's an interesting specification right there. That's an interesting fact. That's one of the things that I tell a lot of people when I travel around the country. Oklahoma is so blessed to have more shoreline miles. I mean, if someone wants to fish, chances are they can get up out of their house and throw a rock a couple of times and find something to go fishing in. It's just we have that much water in, and as a consequence, we have a lot of boaters, we have a lot of watercraft, and of course we have new boaters and new boat owners and new watercraft owners coming into the market every year, and that's why it's so important that they familiarize themselves with basically the laws and regulations to which they're required to operate these vehicles.
And there is a lot of them to know, and that's why we take a lot of opportunity to try to talk to the public.
There's a website out there. I think it's www.boated.com.
That's one. The better one would be for them to go to www.okboated.com.
And that pretty much has a PDF document that they can download and start getting familiar with the rules and regulations for operating that vehicle, whether it be safety requirements, material requirements, navigation requirements. And I know you guys give many courses throughout the summer, some of them right out the Bass Pro Shop. Is that where they're going to be this year?
Yes, I have currently 13 boater safety courses set up at the Bass Pro Shops here in the Broken Arrow, and they can go to that website, okboated.com, and whatever search engine they use, and they can find that website, and they can actually look and see when and where, because there's classes that are also offered not at Bass Pro Shops across the state. And we try to post as many of them as we can, especially the ones that are open to the public. And there's always a number they can call or an email address they can email questions to, and I'll personally get back with them on the questions that they have about the course. And they can look and see if a course date might fit their fancy, and they can pre-register for those classes through that website. And the course is free, and it doesn't cost a thing. And
what's the typical? How long does the course last? I mean, what's a typical schedule?
Typically, the course is about 6 hours. There are times that we have really good classes and have lots of discussions. So between 5 and 7 hours, I'd like to say. But we try to keep it.
Yeah, keep it running, keep it going,
keep on a schedule.
Yeah, keep it fun.
But we definitely we cover a lot of material and. Through the course, and those people that are successfully complete it, some people in the state are required to have it.
Yeah, that's something that these young jet ski owners or young boat owners need to realize, and their parents, that give us the specification or give us the law into which they're required to have this course.
So currently, and ever since 2007, Oklahoma State adopted what they call the Kyle Williams Boating Safety Act. And it enabled us to formally educate the general public of the requirements to be safer boaters. The requirements are currently that anyone 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age must successfully complete a boater safety course sanctioned by the National Association of State Boating Law Administrators. And that course, if they successfully complete that course, it allows them to legally operate in the state of Oklahoma. And when they pass the test, they'll receive a card, and they have to carry that card with them. Something else to remember is that even though it only requires people in the state of Oklahoma within that age division, there are a lot of states around us that have already enacted and adopted regulations that where the age doesn't matter. Dale, if you went to Arkansas and you went to rent a boat in the state of Arkansas today, you wouldn't be able to rent a boat if you haven't successfully completed this class.
Well, I'm a huge proponent of would like to long-term see something like we see on our driver's license for a motorcycle endorsement. I would eventually like to see some type of education requirement for everyone operating a water vehicle, whether it be a boat, a jet ski, whatever that vehicle is, because in many cases, and I'm sure you can attest to this as well, our waters are becoming much more congested than what they used to be. And there's many more people enjoying the water sports than what there used to be. And, there's, situations where John Q. Public can go down to a marine dealer Billy Bob's Marine Dealer and purchase a water vehicle that will run 70 miles an hour with absolutely no training whatsoever, and that can be a very dangerous situation.
It can, and this course offers an avenue for those that want to, or that have the passion to do what's right, to get educated before they go. The Corps of Engineers has, the state of Oklahoma, as the country. I can remember growing up, they had to see a poster in the school, and it had some pictures of something to do with boating on it, but there was a term on there that I always remembered, and it says "Know before you go."
There you go.
And it referred to boating rules and regulations on the water, and that's stuck with me through all the years that I've been here, and I've told people that daily when I do work the water and I'm out making contacts with the public on the water. You should know before you go, because ignorance is no excuse of the law.
Yeah, and not only is it ignorance is no excuse, but these things we're talking about, simple things that can save your life, as well as the lives of other people on the water. And, these are not things that in many cases are high-dollar items that you need to purchase, or in some cases they're free. Like you're talking about this boater education course. It's free. I mean, how much better can you get than free? And in many cases, the insurance company with these individuals that have their boat will give them a discount for going through the course. So in many cases, you're actually making money by going to this course, and 6 hours of your time is a minimal thing to learn something that may save your life or the life of someone else in your boat.
I'll promise you, Dale, a lot of times we get people that will bring their kids because they're required to have the course by law in the state of Oklahoma, which I suspect someday in the future we're all going to have it. But we'll have them bring their kids to the class, or their grandkids, and as they're there, I'll get to questioning them and get to talking to them about their knowledge of boating or what they're doing with the rest of their time that day, and I'll talk them into staying. and they'll stay for the course, and they're going to have to come back and pick their kids up, but they'll stay for the course. And Dale, I have yet to have any of them that have been boating their whole life, that have stayed, that have said, I did not learn a thing in this class. They always come up to me and say, I am so glad I stayed. I had no idea. I just know so much more. I can't wait to go home and tell my buddies.
Yeah. It is like shining a light in a dark corner. Many people that I run across on the water on a daily basis, they're driving on the wrong side of the lake. They're encroaching too much, and in many cases, it's not maliciously done. It's just they don't know. They've not been educated as to what the requirements are for being a responsible person on the water, operating a watercraft of whatever size, shape, or dimension it may be. And, the more people we can get educated on the water, the much more friendlier place it's going to be for everyone. I'm sure you guys see it all the time in your boater safety checks that you're doing, not only on the water but on boat ramps, of people that they just don't have the proper equipment because they don't know.
You're right, and motor inspections on boat ramps are a benefit not only to me as a trooper for the Highway Patrol and the Marine Enforcement Section, but also to the public. And a lot of folks don't understand the concept behind getting your boat inspected. One of the main selling points I have for it is hey, if I inspect your boat on the ramp before you get on the water, if you have a safety violation that we find out that you had, whether you knew it or not, I have no option but to give you the opportunity to fix it before you get on the water, and you don't receive a citation for that.
Right.
But if I catch you out on the water, then you're subject to my discretion on whether or not you need a citation for that. Yes, it is. So there's a definite benefit to those boater inspections on the water before they go.
Well, let's talk about the basic requirements. Let's say you have a boat under 23 feet. Here in Oklahoma, whether it be a V-bottom with a 6-horse kicker on it or a 21-foot high-performance bass boat, what are the basic requirements that every boat must have?
Well, I'll just quickly run through an inspection with you.
Okay.
So one of the first things that I ask is I need to see your registration and a copy of your identification showing me who you are. And the law requires, whether you've taken a boater safety course or not, you have to have a boater safety card with you in the state of Oklahoma or a photo identification showing your date of birth as proof of exemption that you're not required to have that. So everyone has to have photo ID. So we all do. I mean, most of us do. We have an ID card or we have a driver's license, so that's what everybody pulls out. It's convenient, and we already have it on us. So that's where I start getting my information from. I check the registration to make sure that the numbers match up on the boat, and then I look at your numbers on your boat to make sure they're displayed properly. And you can go to this website, or you can go to the Department of Public Safety's website and go to the Marine Enforcement section and pull up the PDF form of the boating rules and regulations and look and see for the proper spacing and such. But then what I get into is I look for your life jackets. I want to see if your personal flotation devices, if there's enough for everybody on board, that they're the proper size for everybody on board, that they're in good serviceable condition, and that they're readily accessible, including a wearable for each person. If the boat's over 16 foot in length, you have to have a throwable. Remember the throw cushions?
Yeah. You got to have a throwable cushion.
And everybody's like, well, why do I need one of those? In case somebody ends up in the water and they don't have a personal flotation device on already.
Not to mention, it's required, period.
Dale, have you ever tried to put a life jacket on in the water?
It's almost impossible.
It is difficult, and that's the concept behind having something readily accessible to throw to somebody in the water. But you're required to have one of those. Also check in your inboard, outboard motors. I check to make sure you have a flame arrestor, make sure that your ventilation system works properly. You'd be surprised how many people, they flip the switch on their ventilation system, they see the red light come on, they hear a hum, but there's no air blowing out the back because something's disconnected or something's not working properly. And if I can find those before they get on the water, the chances of them getting out there and having an issue with a gas leak and a buildup of fumes and a possible explosion on their boat is diminished completely.
Oh, yes.
And then I also check to make sure that, because all boats are required to have a sounding device. No matter what kind of boat it is on the water, you're required to have a sounding device. Some people have a horn. Horns are great. They come from the manufacturer. I have heard some good ones, and I've heard some that weren't so good. But I will caution your listeners that those are electrical devices, and they can fail.
And often do.
And when you need help, a lot of times it's because your battery's dead.
Yeah.
And what good's your horn to let somebody know that you need help if your battery's dead?
Exactly.
Some people like the air horns.
Right.
And the air horns are great, but once again, there's only so much air in that can.
Right.
And if your high school kid takes it to the football game in the wintertime when you didn't know he did, and he puts it back empty, and then you get checked by the highway patrol, or even worse, you need it, and it doesn't work, you're up the creek without an oar.
Yes.
So what I encourage everyone to get, and it's the cheapest way to go, is a simple whistle, what they call a P-less whistle, and that just doesn't have the little round cork ball inside of it, because it'll blow when it's wet.
Right.
And I use this term daily out on the water, and even when I'm teaching my safety courses or doing a safety seminar with people, is that whistle will work as long as you need it to, as long as you have it.
Yeah, as long as you don't step on it and break it or something, or throw it overboard, it's going to work.
It's fail-proof.
Yeah.
And so as far as back through the inspection process, we check those things. But mainly, those are the main core things that we check: the registration, the numbers, the PFDs, the sounding device, the other safety equipment, your flame arrestor, your
fire extinguisher.
Fire extinguisher. That's right. Got to check the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
And I can tell you a story about a situation on Keystone Lake this year where a boat had a gas leak. It was a jet ski, and I always wondered, Dale, why do they put fire extinguishers in the front of these PWCs, these personal watercrafts, where you can't hardly get to them?
Yeah.
And I had a situation happen this summer, Dale, where a PWC had a fuel leak, and they just got done getting fuel at the gas station there on the docks, and they pushed the boat away, and the boat exploded.
Wow.
When he pushed the button to start the jet ski.
Oh my gosh.
But there was a fire extinguisher in the front of that that PWC, and when the spark caused the fumes that were from the fuel leak to explode, the jet ski separated completely, the top to the bottom, and knocked the people off. But the fire extinguisher exploded with the explosion, and the components inside that fire extinguisher immediately put the flames out, and nobody was burnt.
Wow, that's lucky at best.
And I'd never seen that happen or had an experience like that. And I always wondered, why do we need fire extinguishers? Why do we need fire? And that is simply one case where I can give you firsthand experience to where it saves somebody's life.
Well, that it's people need to stop and think just a second. I mean, you've got sparkable devices in this boat. You've got gasoline fumes and gas in this boat. And, not to have a fire extinguisher. And the other thing that, I check my fire extinguisher almost monthly. I just pull it up and make sure the little arrow's in the green, because those things will go bad eventually. I mean, and, you don't want it to be out when you need it. You don't want to need it, but you certainly don't want it to be out when you need it.
Dale, I've seen people that had fire extinguishers brand new in the box and pull them out of the box to show them to me on an inspection, and they're not any good.
Yeah.
So, hey, things like that happen. We get those, call them lemons, right? we get lemons sometimes, and so it is very important that you check your equipment every time you go out, just to double check. It doesn't take but a second.
Right.
And not only could it save you a bad experience with me, but it could save your life or the life of your
what I always tell people that every trooper that I've ever come in contact with is a reasonable individual. You hear some horror stories, and personally, I've never had one. If I run across one, they're out there doing their job, trying to do a good job, and most of them that I've ever run across are just great guys, individuals. And we have to understand as a public that you guys have a pretty rough job. I mean, you're stopping someone from going fishing. Okay, I mean
that is dangerous.
That can be bad news when that guy may have traveled 60 miles to get to that boat ramp, and you're standing there saying, "Hold on a second."
So true.
But at the same time, most of the information that you're giving us, all the information you're giving us, we have to understand that it's a life-saving thing. I mean, it's getting so important nowadays, even more so than what it used to be, in my humble opinion, to be cognizant of these laws, cognizant of these safety regulations. And, you guys do a wonderful job. And, as I told your predecessor, Tony Richardson, who's getting ready to retire, and bless him as well for all of his years of service, that, Just Fish Outdoors is all about safety on the water. So anything we can do to help. And I know you guys also do free boat inspections. I mean, they can call you up, the public can call you up and say, hey, how can I get a boat inspection? And you guys will fix them up.
They sure can, and we would love to meet with them. We even oftentimes set up through the corporate businesses in the areas safety programs to talk about the things that we've talked about on your show today, as well as some of the condensed version of what we talk about in the boater safety, the 6-hour boater safety course. If any of you out there would like to have, I know you have to have safety meetings at in your businesses. If you would like a 1 hour, 30-minute, 1 hour safety talk with your business, by all means, contact the Marine Enforcement section of the Highway Patrol, and I would love to come out and do a little talk with you.
Yeah, and you principals and superintendents of high schools, you need to take advantage of this, because they'll come to the school and do a safety orientation at the school as well.
We do that. I have several of them scheduled this spring. And another opportunity that the public has is the Tulsa Boat Show, and the Highway Patrol, the Corps of Engineers, and the U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary will all have booths out there at the Tulsa Boat Show, and more than happy to have people come up. We have literature, we have information about the boating world and boating rules and regulations and guidelines and the lakes and the conditions and what's new and what's old, and we would love to see everybody out there to just talk to us.
Yeah, and folks, these guys would much rather talk to you at the boat show than hold you up on the boat ramp. So, they like to talk safety, and they're all about it, education and informative lectures, and that it just makes their job easier as well as everyone else's. So I encourage everyone to go out and talk to you if they have a question, or get on the phone and call you guys, and you're all about helping the general public, and that's great. So folks, get a hold of them. Take one of these courses that they're offering at Bass Pro this summer. It'll make the waters a safer place for everyone. You have any closing comments, Ryan? Any specific thing that you want to talk about?
See you at the boat show, or maybe see you at Bass Pro Shops in one of these boat safety courses.
The most important thing is to check your safety gear. That's the most important thing. Ryan, thanks for coming on the show today. As always, I had a great time visiting with you, and I hope we've helped some folks out and gave them some good information that possibly could save them some time on the water and possibly save their life, which is even more. So thanks for coming, and you guys are welcome back anytime. Folks, send us an email. Tell us how you like the show or how we can improve on it. If you have a suggestion for a topic, let me know, and we'll try to put a show together. And folks, if you would like to know more about Just Fish Outdoors, anything we can do to help, just drop us a line at justfishoutdoors@justfish.com or catch us on our Facebook page, Just Fish Outdoors. Folks, thanks for listening. This is Dale York, host of Just Fish Outdoors, saying we'll catch you later.